My name is Pickering. I'm the CEO and co-founder of iOnctura. I founded the company back in 2017 and actually I was working at Merck Serono at the time and heading up oncology, immuno-oncology licensing. And actually the concept of iOnctura came out of some of the deals I transacted on at the end of my time at Merck, and that was how iOnctura was born. So iOnctura was founded in 2017 and the problem that we were solving, of course, is cancer. And it's metastatic cancers and cancers that are resistant to current therapies, especially immunotherapies. So we saw an angle actually with both our programs, our lead programs, to find a way to overcome the resistance that tumours use. Now that resistance is both within the tumour itself, so the intrinsic resistance of the tumour, but also the extrinsic resistance. So some of the messages that the tumour puts out to its tumour microenvironment, repelling immune cells, but also therapies. So what we've ensured with both our programs is that we've found targets that are relevant for both intrinsic resistance mechanisms, but also extrinsic. So we bring together those two mechanisms with one highly selective molecule. So way back in 2017, which feels like a lifetime ago, I was living in Geneva, or just outside of Geneva, as I was part of Merck Serono. One of the reasons I selected, actually there's a few reasons why I selected Geneva. One of them was because I wanted to make sure that I was in an atmosphere of other entrepreneurs and other companies who had just started, so that I could learn from them. I could learn, which accountants to use, which lawyers to use, really the Geneva infrastructure, and be able to tap into that. And I knew that would be important. I was a non-French speaker. I've never started a company before. I'm a first-time CEO, so really learning from people with similar aspirations around me was super important. So that's why I decided to choose Geneva. I also love the site. I fell in love, Fongit showed me around, and I really loved the campus biotech. It was so close to the city, it was close to the airport. I knew I'd have people flying in regularly, so it made a lot of sense. So that was really why I started iOnctura in Switzerland, and specifically in Geneva. On top of that, of course, Fongit was an incubation group that attracted me, for the support and, again, the infrastructure that they had and the networks that they had. So we applied for the fund, specifically the growth fund, about 10 months ago, if not less time. And I have to say they were very supportive. The process was very straightforward, which for a small growing company, we're 10 people, we have 2 clinical trials, to have a network of people supporting us to apply for the grant was very important. So they made it relatively low stress. And of course, now we have the money, it means that we can do so much more in our clinical trial. So we're running a clinical trial in uveal melanoma, and this is our lead program. And uveal melanoma is a very complicated disease. It's the metastatic condition. It's very complicated to follow responses, drug responses, because it's such an aggressive disease. So what we want to use is novel biomarkers. Novel biomarkers that will tell us when our drug is working. And this will then allow us to take these biomarkers into later stage development, making the whole development process a lot more straightforward with regulators, with physicians, but also with patients. So that's what Fongit has brought to us. So we're really very appreciative of that financing. So we have lots of milestones coming. We have 2 clinical stage programs, so all milestones going forwards will be clinical readouts. And of course, what's important for us as a company are patient benefit clinical readouts. Our lead program, as I mentioned, is in uveal melanoma. We're in the middle of a phase 1b, phase 2. So we have 26 patients being dosed at one level, and we will be using biomarkers to really see what our drug is doing. And one of the key biomarkers that we managed to sign, or one of the contracts we managed to sign last week on the back of the Fongit Growth Fund, was a biomarker that reads every single protein that we believe is affected by our lead program. So we can measure the baseline from our patients, but also, the over time what the drug is doing, the changes in these key proteins. So this will then allow us, at the end of this phase 1b, phase 2, which we expect to be middle of next year, a very important milestone for us. This will allow us to take that biomarker and that protein that we can see is being changed by our drug, to take that into a phase 3 registration study. So we will be a company, a small company, European-based, that starts a registration study, and we expect to go all the way ourselves and go into marketing this drug in metastatic uveal melanoma. So that's at least our most relevant milestone for the Fongit Growth Fund. We've also just this week started dosing our first pancreatic cancer patients for our second program, another huge unmet medical need. And we expect to see readouts from that as time goes by. Probably middle of next year, we'll at least understand what our second program is doing in this highly metastatic pancreatic cancer setting. So my message to other entrepreneurs would be, go for it. So it's been 5 years of highs and lows. A lot of grey hairs, but I would never go back. I created a company with one employee at the time, and I came from a company of 15,000. I think I was scared initially that what was I going to do? How could I tap into expertise? Where would I find a pharmacologist? I couldn't pick up the phone and say to my clinician, oh, what do you think about this publication? I was so scared that that's the bit I would lose. But actually, the moment you join a small company, everybody wants to help. There is always somebody that you can pick up the phone to. And that was a really early learning curve for me, which is people want to help small companies. So my advice would be, go for it. Be ready for some highs and lows. Be ready to build a strong team of people around you, because you need to build a team of people that not only have very strong subject-specific expertise, but also to be with you in the roller coaster ride. So that they have to have the same passion, and then I think you're home and dry with the right team, the right courage, the right network of external consultants, advisors, friends, family, then everything else comes together. So that would be my advice.